My baby looking too good, yeah, she perfect. No, she worth it. When she pull up, all them man, them flirting. And yeah, she know that she a dime. Call up on my line, told her, baby, bring it one time. Yeah. Girl, sit down and relax. Girl, let me put it on you, no time for chit-chat.
Yo, what's really good though? It's your girl Yezzir. You are locked in, whether you're watching or listening, to another episode of Hey Sis. Now, as per tradition, I'm not going to be rushing to take down my Christmas decorations, as you can see, okay? The tinsel is going on all year round. I need to find out what date exactly it is where it's like, yo, if you've not taken down your decorations at this point, I don't know for you. But I hope everybody had a good Christmas, good Boxing Day. We're now here in the sobering moments, realising how much we actually spent on a holiday that's been commercialised. Now, in case you didn't know, I am a Christian, so obviously I know what the true meaning of Christmas is, but there's a few home truths that I've realised when it comes to Christmas. But before we get into all of that, I've got a few announcements. And yes, you're going to see me reaching for this Christmas mug from time to time. Don't mind the background. This is why I don't have visitors more often. Now the door's going to close. But yeah, so I have a few things to be thankful for. One of the things is that we've got a few milestones with Hey Sis, and we have reached over 7,000 followers on our Instagram page. If you don't know what it is, it's Hey Sis _UK. I'm probably going to put it up somewhere here. I personally have reached over 7,000 followers on the good old TikTok. So guess who's gassed? Yes, me, of course. And we are steadily getting there with over 700 subscribers on YouTube. Guys, 777, I don't know what's going on. I think it's some kind of lucky number. 777, right? That's where we're at across all social media platforms. There are no bought views, followers, anything like that. I don't know if it's a coincidence because it's the same level of effort that's gone into all those platforms, but hey, I'm here for it, and we are going to reach the milestones. If you're thinking, yo, Yezzi, you're talking about, but you haven't told us what the milestones are, well, let me go ahead and tell you. The goal is for Instagram, we want to hit 10,000 followers so we can be able to up our game, give you the show that you deserve, do so much more stuff. Some interactive things as well, okay? Use your imagination. The goal on YouTube is to get to 1,000 subscribers, so we haven't got too long to go for that. Again, that allows us to up our game in regards to production, guests, things that we can do in and out the studio that we've got planned. But we will hit these milestones. And for myself personally, 10,000 on the old TikTok doesn't sound too bad. Nothing's too big for my God. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting episode, so get yourself a cuppa. It can be a hot brew, a cold brew, whatever tickles your fancy, I don't mind. I've got myself some malt Guinness here, so malt Guinness, make sure you cut the check. That tastes too good. Thing is, I've gone through all the waves when it comes to this whole malt life. I've done the super malt, I've done the mighty malt, that's still a top contender for me. But now malt Guinness, it's creeping up there as my top 3 selected. If I'm going to put it in an order, yeah, when it comes to these malt drinks, I would put super malt at a strong third. Super malt lovers, I got to keep it real with you. It's a very strong third. Coming in at second is going to have to be the malt Guinness I got by my side. And then that's number 1. Numero uno is got to be Mighty Malt. Of course. I think Ghanaians are the ones that like Mighty Malt. So shout out to my black stars out there. If you are listening anywhere, it would be Spotify that you got to listen to this on. It's Hey Sis UK. If we're talking about anywhere else that you want to watch it visually, it's going to be obviously the YouTube, which is Yezzi is official. So let's get into it. I want to talk about Christmas and how interesting it really is. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So basically, I've learned that for me, the meaning of Christmas is togetherness. You're with your family, some that you see often, some that you don't see as often. And I like to go over and beyond. It might be the fact that I'm a first daughter. It might be the fact that I'm a Virgo. I can't help it. One moment, please. The door hasn't been closed properly and it's creaking all through my video. I'm locking it. Charlie. They'll tell you, why haven't you made it yet? I don't know, maybe because people keep fucking up the bass. I'm gonna have to start all over again. I don't know if I'm gonna start all over again. But yeah. So let's get down to it and really talk about it. With Christmas, I'm a Christian, okay? I know what the true meaning of Christmas is. And for me, it's about the togetherness. It's about seeing family that whether you see often or not often, but you're together. It might be the fact that I'm a first daughter. Maybe the fact that I'm a Virgo. But I find myself going over and beyond when it comes to Christmas, but no longer will I be doing that. I'm going to be a yellow bag gal. There is a more harsh version, YBB, that I say to my sister on the phone, but I'm coming with the yellow bags. I'm coming with the green bags because that's what people appreciate. I'm not going to be setting up the table. I'm not going to be cooking 10 plus dishes. I'm not going to be doing decorations. I'm not coordinating. I'm going to be the family member that just strolls in the afternoon. I'm strolling in just in time for the group prayer, and I'm going to eat my plate, my low vibrational plate, and I'm not going to feel any type of way. I think I've put in quite a number of years when it comes to Christmas, doing all the dog work and having people still find something to say, oh, you know, you didn't do this, or, oh, why didn't you do that? And you forgot to do this. And it's like, do you know what it is to do meal prep until 3 a.m. in the morning now? No, you don't know. Do you know what it is to serve up a dinner with two main meats? This year we did turkey and we did duck. And then obviously you got to have all the trimmings, the Yorkshire puddings, the roast potatoes, stuffing balls, veg, mac and cheese. What else did we have? A whole bunch of stuff. Parsnips, Brussels sprouts, which I do not care for at all. And then there's always that one thing. Now call me old. I don't care. There's only one thing that I want when it comes to Christmas. Just one thing that I want in peace. And that is to watch my beloved EastEnders Christmas special in peace. I want it in silence. Because I don't know what it is. Some people that don't watch EastEnders, they come out of nowhere, out of those crusty woodworks, and they decide they want to sit down and watch EastEnders with the rest of us. But all you're doing is laughing and asking questions. Who's that? Who's this? Oh my God, they're still there. And you're hee-keying and laughing through serious moments. When I wait almost 11 months and some weeks to have the most stellar movie moments in my beloved soap opera that is EastEnders, I don't need you laughing through it. I want to take it seriously. Like I said, call me the Grinch, I don't give a heck. But that's what it is. For the first time in God knows how many years, I'm going to make sure that Christmas 2024, I'm going to take a back seat. If you need to order in any food, order it in. If you need to pay decorators, pay the decorators. Not coming out of my pocket. But I want to experience what it is to be a guest during Christmas. Oh, not the host, not the coordinator, but the guest. Because I feel like it's going to bring back my joy for the Christmas period. It's going to bring back me being able to have fun throughout the day. Because, you know, people are like, oh my God, why are you so angsty? Why are you frustrated? Because I'm working on the timer and I've got about 15 to 20 people that expect to eat on time and this and that, and this can't afford to burn, and I still got to shower, get dressed, come back. I think you'd be a bit angsty too. And as much as I'd like to sip on a little something, there's only so much sipping you can do until you burn food or you're just not aware of your surroundings. So as much as I would like to drink to a stupor when it comes to Christmas, I actually do have to be somewhat moderately sober. But that's what it is. And I'm not saying I didn't have a good time during Christmas, but I just realized I've reached my limit with being the coordinator. Now, my fellow coordinators out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a stage where you find joy in coordination. You don't mind it. You're like, you know what? No one's going to do it as well as I do. I get it. I've been there, done that. Got several T-shirts. And then there's a stage where you're like, oh, you know, they need me to do this. No one else can do it like how I do. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, I've had my fill. I think they'll survive. So I've recruited my understudy, my sister, who you've seen on the podcast many a times. You can watch back on a couple. I think we've done about 2 to 3 episodes. So if you want to get a gist of what my sister is like, you'll see it. Oh, I gave her the whole tour, darling. I told her, this is the meals we cook. This is when you should start cooking this one. This is when that should come out. These are the table layouts. I did a full-blown coordination. She called me on the phone. She was like, yo, Yezzi, thank you so much. It was really in-depth, but the way you did it, didn't feel intense. Of course, when you're working alongside people on the day and you're kind of following suit to what needs to be done, of course it's not going to be intense. But dear sister, I write this open letter to you. I can't wait for Christmas 2024. I'm going to be the guest of all guests, and I'm coming with yellow bags. I was mentioning that earlier, that togetherness, I don't think people care too tough. People just want their gifts. A lot of people have really allowed Christmas, the commercialized side of Christmas, to get them in some type of trance where all they're thinking of is gifts, gifts, gifts. Which gifts can I make Instagrammable? If you want the yellow bags, darling, we can get the yellow bags. We can get the green bags. But don't expect a certain level of presence, yeah, if all you want is presents. Remember, you can't have it all. There are people that will date certain people and they're like, yo, I want a certain kind of lifestyle. I want a certain kind of this. Cool. When you have all the materialistic aspects of that lifestyle, I don't want to hear pim about quality time. Quality time. You got the financial aspect of what you care about in this relationship, so you have to sacrifice something. I used to have clients back in the day that will say, oh, when it comes to the type of thing I'm looking for in property, I need to have X, Y, Z. And let me tell you, X, Y, Z, it wasn't 3 things, it was 10 things. And I used to say, you know what? Everything you've mentioned is not wrong. You know, why not? That would be great in an ideal world. However, 9 times out of 10, you have 3 things, 3 non-negotiables. And then you see out of those 3 non-negotiables, have 2 out of 3 that you just have to have. Because there is no perfect property. And it's the same to do with friendships, lifestyles, relationships, and family. You want a perfect setup or you want an ideal setup, you're not going to have that necessarily. My thing is I've assessed certain things with certain people and they don't want gifts. Okay, they don't want your last minute Dove or Lynx sprays packaged up. Some people don't even want a voucher. People don't even want a voucher nowadays, and I don't know if it's the cost of living crisis that's got people tight up in their ass. But people either want cash of a certain level or they want the yellow bags and the green bags. And you know what I'm talking about if you're based in the UK. The yellow bags, Selfridges. The green bags, Harrods. And if you're not coming with the Selfridges bags or the Harrods bags, don't think you bringing a dish to some people's house is enough. Let me tell you something. If you are saying, yo, one of the most joyous and happiest days of the year, okay? Let's get this, let's wheel it back. For one of the most happiest days in the year, if we're talking holidays, and that's Christmas, be very particular on what household you choose to spend that in. If you're going to what you know, assess the household, assess the people. If you know the materialistic, you think coming with a dish is enough? If you know some people very well, you need to go to the households that you know appreciate you and love you for your presence. Not presents, not your gift giving, but you as a person that don't need your gifts or need to be validated by your gifts. Because it's the world that we live in right now. I set the tone for what I want to do and how I want to live and how I want to feel. However, I've noticed that being the cook and setting the table is not enough for some people. Keeping the vibes alive is not enough for some people. Some people just want gifts or cash. And some people will get gifts and cash, but you know there's certain households here that you're like, yo, this is my last destination today. This is where the vibes are out. This is when I'm going to spend as much time. It's going to be in this place. And there's some households, sorry to say it, that you make your first stop. You do a young 2 hours there, 3 pushing it. You move on to the next one, then you move out to the last one. That's the one with the most vibes. You know how you navigate yourself on your day. When it comes to Christmas Day, New Year's Day, you know how you do it. There's the households that you spend Christmas Day at. There's the ones that you spend Boxing Day. You see where I'm going with this? There's the ones that you go for New Year's Eve. There's the ones that you go for New Year's Day. You see where I'm going with this? Perfect. Cool. If you want to protect your peace when it comes to the festive season, holiday seasons next year, be very particular with which households you navigate yourself through on those days, because they will be the ones to navigate your mood throughout those days. The households and the people that, you know, show you the most true and pure love, make you your last stop. I know why I'm saying this. This is where you want to just ease on through. The ones that you know you have to show your face, maybe it's family or whatever, you just have to do it. You know the households that you just show your face. You don't really want to come, but you don't want them to have something against you, like, oh, so-and-so doesn't visit. Cool. They will be the first stop. A young 2 hours. You come with whatever you think is appropriate for that household. Don't be bringing dishes and food to houses that didn't ask you to bring food. Because the same way they would treat you is the same way they would treat you with or without the dish. If you know the household you're going to, and they want you to bring cash, they want you to bring gifts, they want you to bring food, decide between them. But don't go and kill yourself and start bringing food and gifts and cash. Choose one out of the three so you can have peace in your life. I know I'm saying this. I've learned a lot. New Year's Eve is coming. Me personally, I'll be spending New Year's Eve in church. That's where I normally spend New Year's Eve. I have this thing where I like to bring in the new year with the Lord. God is the one that saw me through every trial and tribulation that you can imagine the year can give you, and he's going to be the one to set me through again. We go again. The re-up is here. 2024, I'm ready for you because I got God by my side. New Year's Day, if there's any reasonable motives to go to, I will go to, because I'm at a point in my life that I like my household. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a homebody, but you know when you set up your house so well that you're like, I like my house so much that I know I'm not missing out on anything outside. I'm just saying. Like, I can watch all the snaps you got for me. I'm not going to get FOMO because my yard is comfortable. My mattress, sublime. My TV is a good size. I've got every subscription you can imagine. My fridge is filled to the brim. Oh, I'm good. Heating's on. Bills are paid. And it's an exclusive club of one. No one's coming up in here that I don't want to come up in here. That is why I don't get FOMO. I think FOMO is for people that feel like there's always better. The grass is always greener. When you've seen enough of life, yeah, and you realise, oh, the grass ain't all that on this side. Or, I've come out a few times where I felt like, yeah, I've missed out on this. And when I saw it for what it really was, I'm like, oh, it ain't all that. And most experiences, if we're going to be talking about FOMO, most experiences aren't about the place you're at or how much you paid or spent that day. Experiences, yeah. Let me gather myself together. Experiences aren't based on where you're at in particular or how much money you've spent. It's really about the people that you're with. They are the ones that give you the long-lasting memories, the laughs, the giggles, the stories you talk about 10 years from now that you're like, I can't believe we got ourselves in that situation and got ourselves out of it. It's the people. So if you know you ain't got good people with you that you are going to these places, there's no such thing as FOMO. That fear of missing out because you've seen a couple snaps or Instagram stories and you think, oh my God, it's a lit time. No. It was lit because of the people that they were with. That's why it's lit. It's not because of the event. I know why I'm saying this. I've seen a lot, tried and tested it, and I was like, oh, okay. This is what we're doing. Say no more. And I'm not saying this as a position of a hater. I'm not. I'm just saying it in the facts of life, because social media, if you allow it to, it will make you go mad. For the Spotify listeners, don't worry, the sound hasn't gone out. I just had to take a sip of my drink as per. And speaking of madness, I told you this was going to be an interesting episode. I've realised in life there are people that are going to use frustration tactics to trick you out of a position you've earned to be in. There are people that want you to walk away from blessings that are owed to you so they can go and tell people that you're mad. They won't say everything that you did up until that point, but the end result is that you look like a mad person. You look irrational. You look like you're impatient. You look like the person with the short fuse. And I don't know who needs to hear this because it's been weighing heavy on my heart, but do not let anybody trick you out of your God-given position. Recently, I'm having somebody that is using language. And you see me, I'm born in England. I'm educated to a certain level. And the worst thing is when people think they're smarter than you, they get sloppy. They get sloppy in their approach and wearing a mask long enough for you not to see who they really are. But when the mask slips, we see each other. And the reason why we see each other and not just me seeing you is because I've always presented my intentions clean and clear from the beginning. As for you, you haven't. And what happens is with time, when people are being fake, they can only keep up the mystique for so long. They can only keep their mask on for so long. Then there's going to be moments where they can't believe that you keep pushing through every rubbish that they've got prepared for you, and then the mask slips. They have a little snappy moment. They say what they really meant, and then they say, no, I didn't mean it like that. Please pay attention to the wording that people use, because most of the time the first choice of words that people use, in case, let's just say this, unless people say as a disclaimer beforehand, oh, for lack of a better word, and then they proceed to say what they're saying, I'm telling you, pay attention to the choice of words somebody uses first time around, because that was their intention. That's their true feelings of what they really meant to say. And also pay attention to what people are insinuating, because they'll try to say things like, oh, it's all in your head, or, oh, no, that's not what I meant, or you've jumped to conclusions. No, what you said is why I've come to this conclusion. And I say this to say, without basically say everything that's happened, one day I'll go into what's exactly happening with me right now, my people. But I'm going to say it like this. When people know, okay, and some of the scariest moments for people that are users is when you realize what your worth is, they get scared because their intention was never to treat you to your worth, okay, give you what you deserve or treat you in a way that you deserve to be treated. So when they realize that, what they will do is frustrate you out of that space, so you can just get out of the way. So you're not a threat to them when it comes to your worth, and you're not a worry for them with you staying there trying to make a change. Because a lot of people, the reason why they conquer a lot of spaces in our society is the fact that they don't change the way things are. Because when you start changing stuff, other groups of people that you've been suppressing for so long start to think that they can do better. The worst thing for people that are always on top, because let's just say it, 9 times out of 10 in society, to be on top, there needs to be a group that's suppressed. There's a group that has to be at the bottom, and they have to remain on the bottom for you to have things like a lineage and aristocrats and generational wealth in those regards. So when those group of people realize that you know your worth, they're going to want to push you out. And let me tell you something, keep your eyes wide open for what's going on in this world, yeah? When you see a group of people in a space that they don't normally occupy, and let me just be honest, is somewhat beneath them, be very careful, because they're either planning to push you out of the space they now want to occupy, or they are trying to make a lot of changes. So you need to make sure you get them out of that space, or you think of a plan B to move on. Because once you let a group of people penetrate a space, don't think they're going to put you up on a pedestal and say, oh, don't worry, I'm going to make sure that you're all good and sort you out and everything's going to be fine. No, I'm here to take your position. And I'll never forget what someone told me. It's like some of the most vicious people will look the most clean cut you ever see. I'm not afraid of the guy with the hood up and wearing certain clothes and talking in a certain way. No, it's the guy in the suit that I've got my eyes on. Because the guy in the suit smiling and grinning that will say, don't worry, I've got you, I'm going to sort you out and give you all the promises in the world, that's the one that will mess you up in ways that you didn't know you couldn't even imagine. Okay? Contracts, read your contracts. Deals, read them. The words that people use, look beyond that. Because nothing's ever surface level when it comes to career progression, when it comes to what you want in your life. There's always more to it. There's more depth to it. Look at the people that come before you. And I want to say shame on them. Let me take a sip right now. I don't know, man. I think I'm in my Mandela era. I can't help myself. But I'm going to say this with chest. For every institution in every space, that people today are struggling in. I want to say shame on the people that came before them, because you had the capacity to make a change so it's better for people after you, and you chose not to. And I'm not saying everybody should come on a Mandela type tip, but I'm saying if you can speak up about a situation, that's a contribution. If you can make an active change when it comes to legislation, that's a contribution. If you can help to be a part of someone else's movement, that's a contribution. But when you stay mute, as far as I'm concerned, you are contributing to the poison that happens when there's injustices served in so many different spaces. I'm now having to struggle in a certain space because someone else didn't do the work before me. But what I'm going to do, in case they're watching as well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I make an active change and bring awareness to injustices that are happening. And when things are not done equal, when things are done in a way that you're trying to frustrate people, especially when it comes to mental health in this day and age. But you see me, I come equipped from the Most High. So there's nothing that can be done to me anyway. But I'm just looking more so on like other people and people that will come before me in these spaces. When will things stop? And I'm going to say it again. When you keep quiet to wrongs that are being done, do you think you're any better just because you technically didn't do the wrong? Sorry to say it, but you're just as bad. And that applies to anything in life. If you see something, if you know of something, hear something, just because you didn't do it, don't think, oh yeah, I sleep very well at night. Nah. Because karma's a real thing. I like the fact that when people don't see things coming, because that's the best way. If you've ever heard of the story of Helen of Troy, there's a Trojan horse. And I feel like when you look like me and you're in certain spaces that people didn't expect you to be in, you are a living, breathing Trojan horse. And if you know how the story ends, you win. Sometimes it's nice when people don't expect something from you and they don't see you coming, because what's going to happen? You're always going to over-deliver. And over-delivering in a space where you can benefit, bellissimo. I can't complain. But I did want to get that one off, because with the new year happening, 2024, I think the perspective that we need to have is that we have to come equipped to every space we're in so we don't be taken advantage of. It's very easy to get in a space and have hope. A lot of people for centuries have been using the aspect of hope to get people from different groups of life into doing stuff for them. Because, oh, hope is coming, or we're hopeful that there'll be a change, or we're hopeful that you'll look after me when the time is right. However you set yourself in a space is how it's going to continue. If you've allowed someone to treat you in a certain way now, just because you've committed yourself for 3-5 years, they're not going to wake up one day and go, oh, you know what? I really want to do right by so-and-so because they've been putting in the work. No. If I've been taking advantage of you for a year, I'm going to keep taking advantage of you for as long as I can. It's up to you to wake up. You think I'm going to be the good person? And I'm not just talking about work, even in relationships, friendships, family. Don't think that someone's going to wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to do right by you. No one's going to do right by you until you say, hey, look, do you plan on doing right by me? If not, I'm out. So 2024, cutting, taking advantages left, right, and center. 2024 is definitely the year of being unapologetic and saying it with chest. If you want to answer for something, get your answer now. Don't be tiptoeing and cutting around the corners and being hopeful that this person will come around to giving you a response on something that you want. If you're in a relationship, what's good? Are we taking this to the next level or not? Let me know now. Oh my God, you're rushing me. Why all of a sudden? I thought we were going with the flow. Are we taking this to the next level or not? No? Cool. I'm out. When it comes to work, oh, by the way, you know, I have been putting in a lot of work. I just wanted to know that position that I spoke to you about earlier. Will you be considering me for that? You know, it's going to take a bit of time. Cool. Oh, no worries. Start applying for other places. Like I was saying, yeah, a lot of people expect that, oh, when I put in the hard work, someone's going to look after me. People take advantage of people every single day. Please don't think you're different. Don't think the type of work you're putting in is different. No one's going to mock it. They will mock it for as long as they want to. If you want a certain position in a company that's come up internally, you already work there, and you said, just wanted to know that role that's being advertised at the moment, I have put myself up for it. Will you be considering me at any point? I don't know. We're still thinking and mulling over a few things. I don't know who needs to tell you this, but they don't plan on giving you that role. Start applying elsewhere. I don't care if you spent 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years there. If they don't approach you for the role that you are qualified to do and hand it to you over a cup of coffee saying, oh, you know, we've recognized all the hard work you've put in. Would you like this role? If you see that role advertised first, internally, then externally, they are not considering you for the role. Don't waste your time. Start applying elsewhere. Even if you don't want to leave, okay? I know it's a cost of living crisis, whatever. But there's nothing wrong with just seeing, oh, how much am I worth right now in this current market? How much is it enough for me to leave? What are the benefits nowadays? Because sometimes you can be in the position and think, oh, this is as good as it gets. You could be dating someone saying, oh, I don't think there's any better out there. Go out. Go out. You're in a relationship right now and you're miserable, but in your mind, you think, oh, this is the best I'm going to get. It's better the devil I know than the devil I don't know. Have you tried going out? Have you seen what's in the current market right now? Oh, but you're going off the basis of this one guy that you've been with and you think that's the bar for your treatment. That you've changed over the times. You've maybe upskilled yourself, gotten better when it comes to your mentality. I don't know. You've made a change. You've improved in some shape, form or fashion. But you're going on like, oh, I'm not 100% happy, but it's okay for me. Oh, is that how we're living life now? Fear. Fear drives a lot of things. Fear will make you stay in positions that you were not supposed to be in for that long. Okay, that job was okay for 1 year, 2 years, when you were 24. You've outgrown that position, but you're still forcing yourself in a space that you're not supposed to be in. And then when people are telling you, oh, you know, like, you deserve more, you know, or it's okay to move on, you don't want to hear it. Certain people I don't waste my breath on. Just taking a sip. There's certain people that I don't waste my breath on, especially if I met you in a position where we are all collectively going through the same injustice. There's no point discussing it with you, especially if you recognize it. If you were ignorant to the fact of what's going on, you're like, oh my God, like, you've enlightened me. I didn't know this was happening. I'll say, okay, I'll give you that grace. Sometimes we hand out grace too easily. People hand out grace for situations where you're not supposed to be handing out grace. You're supposed to be handing out accountability. You need to be accountable for this and what you've done. I'm not going to keep giving you grace because this is why you keep doing the same foolishness you're doing. But if I say something now, everybody wants to shoot the messenger. That's the society we live in. No one cares about the message anymore. Oh, I don't like the way you said it, or how you said it, or the time at which you said it. The context of what I'm saying is relevant, yes or no? You know, some people have told me that, oh, you know what, sometimes you're just a bit too black and white. Nuances are great for people that can afford to live in spaces of nuances and grey areas and being patient enough to see how things work out. For someone like me, I need to work on black and whites when it comes to this society. Do you intend to do this for me, yes or no? Is this going to happen, yes or no? Where are we going, yes or no? I'm not working on maybes. Show me someone that's successful, that went throughout life, and their perspective to everything was maybe, if, but. I'm waiting. Okay. Because the people that I know that are successful worked using the words of I can, I will, this is when it's going to happen. People are quick to tell you, take things easy, or have a little bit of patience, or don't say anything. Shh. That's a form of suppression for me. You can't suppress my voice when something is wrong. And I'm not talking about, oh yeah, I'm going to shout something from the treetops. But sometimes you'll be in institutions when they're like, oh my God, we can't write this in an email. They're reading our emails. They're tapping our phones. I'm not living my life in paranoia. Anything that anyone planned to do to you, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't because of what you did. They've always planned to do that to you. Okay, if certain people don't want you in a space, it's not because of what you've done on this date. They were planning on kicking you out the whole time. Sometimes people just like to be smart with how they do it. So like I was saying earlier, some people might want you to be the one to say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go. Because you know what that does? It saves them from looking like the bad guy. Sometimes you be in relationships, yeah, and this person is the sweetest person ever. They're great, so easygoing. All of a sudden, they're nitpicking at every little thing. They are trying to indirectly tell you that they no longer want to be in the relationship, but they don't want to look like the bad guy if this ever comes out. So it's better for you to leave the relationship because of, mutual frustrations or us outgrowing each other. The truth is they were over the relationship. They just want you to be the one to leave because 2 things happen. They end up having no regrets because they technically didn't dump you, so they're not missing out on anything. And number 2, they get to sleep well with their conscience knowing that they weren't the one to dump the nice person. And then in their head, they're still a nice person as well. Don't let people trick you into looking mad in this society. Unless that's the kind of brand and label that you want for yourself, to be looking crazy. I don't know, maybe you're on reality TV or something and that works for you. Sometimes the brand and label of looking crazy works. If you're a Christian Rock or whatever, great. Get your endorsement deals. However, if you don't want to be looking crazy, I suggest you take a deep breath and start to play this game like chess. Because that's the only way you're going to survive with your head held high. So I'm laughing and I'm smiling through things because now when you're playing chess, you understand people's intentions before they've even landed it. You've expected the unexpected before people have even done it. That's why you can't frustrate me out of my position or anybody that even listens to this, because I already saw it coming. Some people might think it's a bit dark to not expect anything from anyone. I work in one of the hardest industries in the world, okay? You have athletics, sporting up there, okay? That's very hard. 1 injury, everything done. I work in the entertainment industry. This is a technological era, and why I say that this is so great is because you learn so many things. What I didn't understand is what people find as currency, social currency, how you see yourself in society. And I think I put out a post, yeah? And I'm going to tell you the snippet that I put out. If you haven't heard it, it's about smartwatches, and I'm going to play it. Let me play it right now for you. Ladies, please, let's stop taking pictures with dresses on and you're leaving the smartwatch on. Take off the smartwatch. Please, please, please. You're killing the aesthetic. If there's just one thing I could ask here, because New Year's Eve is coming. Okay, so I'm talking about smartwatches, and I said, you know what? You got to give the smartwatches a break. And what shocked me the most was that people were offended. And then someone summed it up, someone that left a comment in the comment section. I wasn't reading all of it, but this one really got me. She's like, I think a lot of people don't understand in certain countries, having a smartwatch is a label. It shows what your social status is in society. And I thought, rah, having a piece of plastic on your wrist, I don't care how much it costs, it's plastic, gives you some type of boost in your self-esteem. That is sad. Oh my God, that's so sad. Considering everything that a lot of people have been going through, yeah. And for you, what makes you feel like you're somebody when you leave your house is having a smartwatch on your wrist is worrying, I'm not going to lie. But then I understood it. If we're looking at things at a trivial aspect, social currency will convince people that you're in a position that you're not in, and in turn make you feel like you're in a position that people think you're in. So it gives you peace of mind, and sometimes it allows you to be treated in a certain way in life. So when it comes to this whole social currency type of thing, a lot of people, you might see someone as a bad person. Oh, they're so mean, they're so bad. That's how they decided to treat you. There's someone else that they would say, oh my gosh, they're the sweetest person in the world. They couldn't hurt a fly. Clean hearts always win. That is the world we're living in. Please don't ever take a version of somebody as the only version they have. They have several faces. Minimum is 3 faces to them. It's up to you to decide, this is how I deserve to be treated. So whatever face you got going on now, if I'm not feeling it, you're going to have to switch it up. You know how some people be like, oh, these are my standards. And some will say, oh, your standards are too high. No, they're too high for you. My standards are reasonable. They're not out of this world. They're not astronomical. They're not too much. They're too much for you. Your standards are low. A lot of people have set the bar. Now I want higher than the bar. There's nothing wrong with that. I match whatever I'm asking for. There's no problem, because I'm very sane. I weigh up these things before I ask for them. So if I say, oh, I require X, Y, Z, it's because that's what I'm bringing to the table. Don't ever doubt that. And what I've learned as well, as this year has progressed, is that I've allowed God, because you have to allow it. You can't do something and not allow it to happen, I've allowed God to push me in the directions that he wants me to be in. I don't chase things anymore. I'll be honest with you, I don't even ask to be in spaces anymore. If I'm supposed to be in that space, I'll be in that space. If it's time for me to move on to something else or add this to my repertoire and all these different things, I let God take over. Because the worst thing you can do is force yourself at a table that they don't even want you at. Because a lot of people, when you come from where I'm coming from, Southeast London, you already know what the narrative is. A lot of people's goal is, oh, I want to be sat next to these type of people and I want to be on these tables and this, that and the third. And it's not necessarily because of the type of people, but it's what they represent. And I get it. But sometimes you have to come to a point in your life and ask yourself, if you see things coming out where certain designers have said, I don't like big people wearing my clothes or people of color wearing my clothes, do I still want to be accepted by that designer when they've made it very clear that they don't like people like me? Does it even make sense at this point? If I know, oh, this particular institution is owned by someone who has no good intentions for the people that they seem to want to help on the surface level, and all they want to do is make sure they keep you in your box, do I want to willingly work for said institution? Somebody said something to me a long time ago, and they said something along the lines of, a lot of people from impoverished areas like to... Somebody said something to me a long time ago, and they said something along the lines of this. A lot of people from impoverished areas like to complain about not getting certain positions or not being handed things that they think they deserve, but are the same people ready to create the platforms to get what they deserve. And that just makes me feel like a lot of things require a lot of work, but is everybody willing to do the work, or is everyone just ready to complain? Because it's great to walk into a position and say, oh, you know what, this institution has been standing here for 100+ years, I'm qualified, give me X, Y, Z. But it's not by force. They don't have to give you anything. Nobody owes you anything. So you can scream injustices from the rooftop, but when it really boils down to it, when it's someone else's platform or someone else's institution, something else that somebody else has built, they don't have to let anybody in. And it's a hard truth. But yeah, I had to get that one off my chest, just in the sense of the overrounding message, whether you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, is that with this new season that's coming in the form of a new year, don't let anybody trick you out of a position that you deserve to be in. That is my final takeaway. Remain steadfast in what you're doing. Make sure you're always thinking 10 steps ahead, and don't be hasty with any decisions you make. I know why I'm saying this. But before you go, there's just a couple things you need to do for me, okay? Couple things. I need you to like, comment and subscribe. I need you to make sure you leave a comment and let me know what else you want to see topics wise in regards to the show. We've got a few milestones that we're trying to reach, which is 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So somewhere down below, you can click the subscribe button. We're also trying to get to 10,000 followers on the Hey Sis page. It's HeySis_UK. And you can follow me on my TikTok and my Instagram. So TikTok is Yezzi.Yezzir. I'm going to put it there. And for Instagram is Yezzir. Until then, make sure you stay blessed. Bye.
I undress and he blows success. Lay down as you decompress. Come mine and forget the stress. Got the 9 to 5 cause he tryna change his life. He can't help it but to show his bad side. So he call me Jesse when he want that good ride. Follow my stride, you know you want a good time. Pick any card, I know it won't decline. He know how to please me, never tease me. Keep me in Givenchy, laced in Gucci. Quick, take the keys and drive to Chelsea. He is Scalini, order linguine. He ordered the chateau, we got it to go. Then flew to the chateau, you already know. Friends telling me they see the glow. There's no way they know, well I guess it shows.